We all know that summer's the time where the weather gets warmer and we start bringing out all the shorts, tank tops, and swimsuits. It's fun to change up our wardrobe after a long winter. Well, at least for most of us. While this time of year is usually filled with fun summer trips, swim days, late nights out for ice cream, and beautiful sunsets, sometimes the joy gets clouded by our constant obsession with how we look, especially when we're showing a bit more skin than usual. I remember thinking that shorts showed off my imperfect legs, tank tops showed that my arms weren't as toned as I would have liked, and crop tops showed that my stomach wasn't completely flat, and I didn't have abs, my biggest insecurity. I wish that as a young girl, I would have realized that there's no perfect body. I thought there was, and I was always striving towards something that never existed. I don't know about you, but about a month ago, I started seeing tons of ads for bikinis and other swimwear with seemingly perfect models. You know, the long tan legs, just the right amount of hip, chest, and butt, and flawless skin and hair. And I can't help but compare myself to that model, at least a little bit. I'm trying not to, but unfortunately, comparison is kind of a natural human trait that we're all too good at. We always find something to compare to. Thankfully, I'm to the point now where I can overcome my issues with comparison, but a year or two ago, no way. I had body dysmorphic disorder. Basically, my perception of my body was completely messed up. I looked in the mirror and all I saw were the flaws, and my body was never good enough for my unrealistic standards. I spent so much of my life picking myself apart instead of building myself up, and I don't want you to make that same mistake. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self what I'm about to tell you. But even if you're like this, know that you have the power to change how you view yourself. I never thought I could see myself positively, but I did. And it's been the best decision for me so that I can love the body that God gave me. And trust me, I don't wake up every day saying how much I love myself, but I do choose to accept who I am, knowing that there are so many more important things in life than my physical appearance. Of course, I still have days when I'm less than satisfied with what I see in the mirror, but at least now it doesn't ruin my entire day. In the past, I always thought that I needed to have the perfectly flat stomach with shredded abs and flawless skin, but I hate to break it to you, those expectations are nearly impossible to achieve for the majority. It's no wonder why a lot of us beat ourselves up when we don't get those same results. And let's be honest, social media, commercials, and other outside sources don't really help with this problem. If anything, they reinforce the negative message that you're not enough the way you are. But today, I just want to remind you that you are enough the way you are, and that any body is a summer body. We don't need to have expectations for what that body should look like. There's nothing wrong with change, but don't try to mold yourself into someone that you're not just because of a trend. No physical body is the same, so why are we so quick to criticize our own body and strive to get someone else's body? Why do we say that other people's bodies are #body goals? Let's stop trying so hard to change ourselves to fit the trend, and instead let's just be who we truly are. Spring was always the time when I would start seeing all the swimwear ads, and I'd be quickly reminded that I had to get, quote, in shape for summer. My 10-year-old self knew that I'd be wearing a swimsuit very soon, and I was worried about that, even for one pieces. As a competitive swimmer back then, who wore swimsuits all the time, I was still anxious about that because I wasn't comfortable or confident in my own skin. Just spilled. I always thought I was too big. I thought I needed to be super strict with my diet and cut out my favorite foods to be thinner. Well, that's just what I'd heard. Looking back, I can't believe that I used to live that way. I would feel so guilty if I ever gave in to my cravings, so I never did. My negative thoughts about my body ruined everything, not only holidays and vacations, but also social gatherings. If I could go back, I would tell myself this: Elsa, if you want to work out, do it, but don't do it to offset that extra slice of pizza. Just enjoy the food with your loved ones, move on with your life, and don't overthink things. You don't have to be so rigid about everything.
Are like sticky. Look how close together they are. What do? I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to give them holes. Whoa.
You have to enjoy life a little bit. You can't keep depriving yourself of every last thing. In the past, I liked knowing that I was in control of how I looked. It was simple, just eat less and work out more for that summer body. But I realize now that I had an obsession with controlling everything. Know that it's okay to be spontaneous and not have everything planned out to the T. Sometimes the best moments in life are spontaneous, so don't limit your life to only what's on your list. Maybe God has a greater plan for you that's not on your list, but it's on His list. So during this season, when everyone's talking about getting that summer body, don't ruin this time of year by worrying about that.
My friends don't care about everything.
Eating out cheese. Look, it's so fun. Oh my gosh, it's pretty salty. Whoa.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's good, salty. Oh, that's good. Wow. Very flavorful.
So even if you do all these things, you eat intuitively, you love yourself, and you try not to compare yourself to others, it can still be hard to feel confident in your own skin. I think that's the hardest part for me, and it's something that I'm working on daily. I remember that it didn't matter how many people told me that I was beautiful, because it didn't change my heart attitude.
Look at this. This looks so good.
I simply didn't believe it. I still was unhappy with my body. The sad truth is that no one can make you believe that you're beautiful. You have to choose to believe that your worth isn't tied to your physical appearance. As cheesy as it sounds, it's what's on the inside that matters most. And that's what God looks at, your heart, not your physical appearance.
Dirty clothes on the ground, I pretend I don't see. Candy wrappers are found between the bed and the sheets. My circulates died a million times. Now where do I get my oxygen? Guess I gotta go outside like a normal person. Right, don't wanna give up the spot in my bed. Lose all the crazy thoughts in my head. But I can't go living on in this mess. So I said, cleaning up an offer for my life, for my crime.
Feeling comfortable in your own body is hard, but I almost guarantee you that people don't judge you as much as you think. Sometimes we're the meanest to ourselves, and we don't need to be. So try every day this week to encourage yourself like you'd encourage a good friend. Instead of putting yourself down for every tiny detail that you mess up, choose to be kind to yourself and give yourself grace. The obsession with weight. It's too bad that this is an issue for way too many of us. Let me first say that weight is not a direct indication of health. At my lowest weight, I was so unhealthy, and now at my highest weight, I've never felt more alive and energized. I've never been at a higher weight than now, and this summer I'll look different from previous years, and I've come to terms that I'm okay with that. I can't explain how much better I feel physically and mentally. What I gained in weight, I also gained in happiness, food freedom, better sleep, and just energy to live life. So being in a larger body this year doesn't mean that you failed, which is basically the opposite of what the world tells us. As scary as it sounds, your body's weight and size will fluctuate throughout your entire life, and if you don't learn to love it at every size, you'll never truly love who God made you. That's something I'm working on myself. After being so sick last fall, I now appreciate my body so much more. Instead of being worried about the shape of my body, I'm just so grateful that my body can take me swimming and hiking now. I was literally bedridden and could barely go up the stairs last fall, so this is a major improvement. This is just a reminder to be grateful for your amazing body that's always looking out for you. Taking anatomy and physiology seriously opened up my eyes to the wonders of the human body. So many things on a cellular level that are happening 24/7 that we never even think twice about. So instead of being self-conscious about every part of you, think about how amazing your body is for keeping you alive each and every day. I know that when I took a step back to really appreciate this body that God made for me, my issues with how I looked seemed so much smaller.
Just to breathe. Back then when we never had a worry, we were so naive. When I was a younger girl, I wasn't so hardened by the world. Why did I wanna be older? Now our youth is...
Stop! I'm trying to go as far as I can. What?
You're really shy and proud. It looks like you didn't have any teeth.
Stop making me self-conscious.
So let's let's talk about some unrealistic beauty standards for a second. I think we can all love our bodies, but there's no need to set a trend or to compare our bodies to others. Society has praised many different bodies over the years, and like fashion, the trend always changes. Looking back to the 1930s to the 60s, the hourglass figure was praised. Then only 10 years later, people loved the ultra-skinny adolescent figure. In only 10 years, society's beauty standards for women did a 180.
Whoa, this is gorgeous. Oh, ow. Teeth.
And now in 2022, people are into the slim thick trend, where it's expected that everyone has a perfectly flat stomach with abs, a fuller chest, and a larger butt. Even if I wanted to, no matter how hard I tried, there's no way genetically that I could ever look like any of these trends that I've just mentioned. So instead of trying to fit the body trend, embrace who you are as a person and see that the way God perfectly designed you is enough.
I have been gone.
Of course, if you want to build more muscle, do it. Heck, I'm trying to do that right now. If you watched my latest video, you know that I suffered from malabsorption for over a year and a half. I had no idea why I was feeling weaker and why I wasn't gaining more muscle. In fact, I was losing muscle despite lifting weights, eating a lot of protein, and having adequate rest days. So for me, I'm trying to regain the muscle that I lost simply for my overall health, not because of a trend. Just remember that whatever you do, don't change your body for worldly approval. Do it for your health, happiness, and overall well-being.
So now we're going to your bedroom. Don't you think we're moving too soon? I love to hear you when you complain about your best friend, how she's so late. And as you're talking, I'll start thinking, all the details start to sink in. I don't care about the right now. Spend the summer in this beach house.
I know there's kind of an assumption that people eat, quote, lighter in the summer, but personally, I don't think that's the case for me. Why does society always tell us that less is more? A lower weight's better, less food is better? This simply isn't true. Just remember that balance is the key to living a healthy and sustainable life. So have the milkshake and burger when you're eating out and don't think twice about it. I think one of the most difficult aspects revolving around food is trying to rewire the way we think about food in general. A lot of us, myself included, have just automatically been taught that the donut is bad and the apple's good. The world thinks this way because it's so indoctrinated in diet culture. You can't go far without hearing something stupid like this. The interesting thing is, food isn't so black and white like a lot of us have been trained to see it. My best advice is to not categorize foods as good and bad. Just enjoy all the foods in moderation and don't overthink things. Of course, our bodies need nutrient-dense food to properly function, but that doesn't mean that some dessert every day will harm us. For 2 years, I would never allow myself to have any extra sweets, but that was before I understood the definition of balance. Now, breakfast, lunch, and dinner are centered mostly around yummy whole food ingredients, but I also like to add in fun foods like chips, chocolate, cookies, and ice cream. In my opinion, it's just the most fun and enjoyable way to eat.
Is this what it means to have growing pains? Never come out the way you went in the same. Just as diamonds shine from pressure, babe. You don't know true love.
I eat dessert every single day and I love that. I know that some people have commented that I'm going overboard, but in my opinion, in this season of my life, I'm okay with that. This is totally up to the individual. For me, I'm intentionally choosing to continue healing my relationship with food, and it's totally paid off. I feel like a completely different person from 2 years ago. Sure, I could have a super, quote, clean dinner of boiled chicken and broccoli, but isn't it so much more fun to grill the chicken, bake the broccoli with tons of flavorful spices, add a gorgeous baked sweet potato, a creamy tahini sauce, and have some ice cream for dessert? Now, I'd say that's an enjoyable meal that's both nutrient-dense and absolutely delicious.
Shine from pressure, babe. You don't know true love until your heart breaks.
So this summer, take it slow and don't be hard on yourself. Embrace who you are and don't feel pressured to give in to society's standards. Don't restrict and don't over-exercise for some ideal summer body that doesn't even exist. I know that around this time of year, the gyms start filling up because everyone's working to get their summer body, but just know that you already have that, no matter what you look like. As much as this contradicts what the world tells you, you don't have to be ultra skinny or super muscly to have a summer body. Focus more on your overall health and how you feel instead of how you look. Don't let your insecurities about yourself ruin this summer for you. Your body and mind deserve better treatment than that. I hope that you'll remember through it all that you were specially created by God and you are His beautiful creation. Embrace what you have and don't let the idea of a perfect body ruin this summer for you. Go soak up some sunshine and remember that you're enough in all aspects of life.
So if I didn't touch it, baby, you should know I'm